Alright, so in this video, I am excited to bring you the top 10 best-selling and then most profitable foods to make from home. And in the middle of what's going on right now, I'm sure you're thinking of different ways to make money since you are at home. These are going to be 10 that are extremely profitable, and you may be scratching your head thinking, wow, why didn't I think of that? I'm going to go over these one by one, and we're going to jump into that right now. Alright, so it is Damien, and welcome back to Marketing Food Online. And in this video, I'm super excited to bring you some ideas. I'm going to brainstorm for you and give you 10 extremely profitable food products that you can actually make from home. Now, a really quick disclaimer before I dive into these 10. Every single state has its own cottage food laws. So you need to take this list with a grain of salt, okay? Because all of these are potentially non-potentially hazardous items. And those are normally items that are found in most cottage food laws throughout each state. Now, it does vary slightly, so maybe one or two of these, maybe an item that you cannot make from your specific state or city or county. But in the vast majority of what is allowed through cottage food laws, these are going to be really profitable items. And many of them are actually very simple to make, very simple recipes. And what's great about these is that if you have a little bit of imagination, you can literally make numerous variations of these classic food snacks and sell them from home. So, before we do, as always, if this is your first video, welcome to Marketing Food Online. We are YouTube's premier food entrepreneur channel. We're bringing you all kinds of tips, tricks, and experiences in the food business to help you get your food business started, get a food truck up and running, or even get a packaged food product into grocery stores or online. So, let's dive into these top 10. Now, these are in no particular order as far as the most profitable because there's a lot of variables. As far as ingredient costs, packaging, and promoting and marketing the product. Now, these being products that you're going to make from home, obviously you would have to be going through cottage food laws, selling them at farmers markets, fairs, festivals, or events, and those types of things. So keep that in mind as well, okay? So some of the pricing may vary based on where you are, how much of an ingredient you're buying, but overall, these are products that are very simple to make, and when made in bulk or made in a larger quantity, they start to be very inexpensive and have a huge profit margin, and that's why I put them on the list. So let's get started. Number one, cakes. Now this may be something like you're scratching your head saying, Damien, oh my goodness, that's a no-brainer, obviously cakes. Yes, cakes cost next to nothing actually to make, believe it or not. The more detailed they are, if you get into using fondant or fancy sanding sugars and other things, yes, the cost of them can slightly go up. But overall, compared to most food products in general, cakes are very, very inexpensive, very cheap to make. The markup on them is astronomical. That's why you see people who actually specialize in wedding cakes and such charge hundreds of dollars, even sometimes thousands of dollars for cakes. And they cost a fraction of that to really make. Now, are they time consuming? Well, it depends upon the cake itself. Depends upon the details of the cake and what is actually needed to make the cake itself. And there's a lot of other factors as far as the time, but the cost overall is very minimal. So number one is cakes. Number two, chocolate confections. You can go online, and these are actually, that's one reason why we even sell chocolate confections on our website. You can get chocolate online in huge quantities at a very great price, very, very low price. You can break that down, and you make these chocolates by hand. And again, it's a time factor more than it is the ingredient, but the markup on these is huge. I can give you an example. There's a chocolate confection that we make that we actually sell 12 in a box. I charge $29.99 for the entire box, everything, lock, stock, and barrel, everything that's included. 12 pieces. It cost me a little bit over $2 to make. Now, as far as the time when I first started to make the product, when I was learning to work with this specific item, it started to be time consuming. But now that we understand how to make it very quick and very fast. Time is literally nothing. It takes very little amount of time to make. So a $29.99 item that costs about $2 to make is huge. Huge margins. Now, number three, seasoned nuts. You can go online and get nuts, either mixed nuts or a specific nut, a cashew or pistachio, or peanuts, whatever it may be. You get them in bulk and you break them down. You can get anywhere from about $1 to $2.50 a pound for a nut, and you can turn around and sell an entire pound of nuts that you've seasoned or roasted or had a little bit of effort and time to put it together, get it in a bag and label it for anywhere from $19.99 and up. Yes, believe it or not, you can. Especially online, when you're out of that situation from obviously cottage food. Our business is being online. Some nuts we charge over $21 for 1 pound. Yes. So seasoned nuts is something that you definitely want to look into. Now, before we get into number 4, remember, let me just throw this up really quick. If you are starting a food business, even if your cottage food laws do not require you to incorporate, check out inkfile.com. You definitely want to incorporate your LLC because of the liability. Now, like I said, many cottage food laws within cities and counties, they don't require you to actually be an LLC or incorporate yourself. But I highly recommend you do that, or at least look into it and definitely make a decision to do that for yourself, because it's actually going to be a huge liability if somebody gets sick and you're not an actual business. You're not incorporated. You can absorb personally any liability for that. So check out inkfile.com. I got a really good link down below in the description if you can go over there and you can incorporate. They actually have some specials, I believe, right now that you can actually do that for zero cost, only state filing fees. So number 4. Energy bites. Now, this may be something you've never heard of, but it's a hugely popular item. And again, the ingredients to bring this together are like nuts. You're talking brown sugars, sometimes sugars or corn syrups, butter. These are very inexpensive ingredients. Energy bites are something that are hugely trendy, very popular now. They actually have big name companies like Kellogg's and even bigger one, Nabisco. They're mass producing. You can see them in Walmarts and grocery stores. But if you can make your own twist, and again, this is what I talked about in the beginning of the video, if you have an imagination, use it. Come up with some different flavor profiles, different variations on the recipe for energy bites. You could be making a huge margin. The ingredients for this type of a product is very inexpensive. Number 5, preserves. Yes, old-fashioned traditional preserves. Believe it or not, preserves are something that are very, very cheap to make. Okay? Now, under some cottage food laws, preserves are not allowed in certain counties or cities in certain states, but the vast majority of them do. Okay? So number 6, muffins. The classic muffin. There is literally an infinite amount of recipes. And if you don't have an imagination, you can't come up with some variation, go to Pinterest. Take a look at Pinterest and look at some recipes and utilize those recipes and create your own muffins. But muffins are, again, something that's the base ingredients. Are you talking about egg, milk, butter, and flour? These are very inexpensive ingredients. And when you make a product in bulk, your margins are gigantic. At least for when you want to put it in perspective and you're starting something from home, you can definitely make a good amount of money making muffins. Number 7. This may be another no-brainer, but again, everybody loves these. They're brownies. Brownies are something that makes a ton of sense to make, because there are literally an infinite amount of ways that you can make a brownie, and you can appeal to a vast amount of an audience for this. And on top of it, everybody loves brownies. And you can actually sell this in a circular round-inch pan like a pie or like a cake. Put it to a baker's board and secure it and you're done. You don't even have to slice it. You don't have to make it fancy. But bake up a 2-pound brick of brownies. It's something that's very inexpensive to do. And people love when you come up with variations. Put in some dried fruits, maybe even spices, maybe even some herbs, some different variations of flavorings, different chocolates, different textures. Brownies are super profitable. And, again, the ingredients to make them, next to nothing. Number 8 is pies. Now, pies are something that, and again, you can come up with a variation of them, but pies are something that when somebody loves to have pies, no matter what type of a pie it might be, they will buy it. And if it's something homemade and they know it's fresh and you just baked it in a matter of days and you're going to a farmer's market or a local event, they will pay for it. I've actually been to some farmers markets where people have paid over $20 for a pie. Now, with that being said, I know that pies don't take that much to make. And as far as ingredient costs, you can make a huge, huge chunk of change just selling pies. Okay? Number 9, kettle corn. Out of everything that's on the list, kettle corn is the cheapest snack item to make. And the margins on them are astronomical as well. These are huge, hugely profitable snacks. Kettle corn is something that doesn't take rocket science to make. Very simple, okay? And it's something that if anyone loves salty sweet items, this snack sells like gangbusters when it comes to farmers markets, different events, festivals, or even fundraisers. So kettle corn comes in at number 9. Number 10, seasonings. Now, pretty much in every single cottage food law that's allowed throughout the nation, the entire nation, seasonings is something that you can do because it's not something that's considered a potentially hazardous food product. And with that being said, seasonings are also something that come in so many variations, and the ingredients to bring them together are super cheap when you get them in bulk. Coming up with a flavor profile, 5 or 6 variations, and taking it to different events to sell is very inexpensive. And if you don't sell it at that particular event on that particular day, you could bring it back and you could sell it again on another week or another event. They also have a long shelf life. So if you're looking to start a small spice or seasoning business, doing it locally from your home is a no-brainer. And it's hugely profitable. So seasonings wraps up our number 10, and that is 10 very, very profitable food products that you could sell from home that are very inexpensive to make, and they're allowed in almost every cottage food law in every state. But again, double check with your state and your city and county to be sure what is on the list that they allow, and make sure that you get yourself licensed and insured and all of that good stuff, because you definitely don't want to absorb that liability on a personal level. So if you have any questions about our top 10 list, please let us know down below. And again, your first video, definitely hit the subscribe button and take a look at the rest of our videos. I'll see you on our next video.
Thanks for watching Marketing Food Online. And if you are looking to create your own food truck, start a home-based food business under the cottage food law, franchise a food operation, start a packaged food business, private label your own food product, sell on Amazon, get your own online store, or sell food online, remember to subscribe and check out these videos for more resources. Take care.